This is where the YouTubers get the sneak peek. In 3, 2, 1.
From Studio 537, this is the Doodle Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, live from the new and improved Beets Lab at Studio 537, you have tuned in to another installment of the Duder Podcast. Week 4 of the GMC football preview. We've made it through 3 weeks. After tonight, we will have scored 6 of the 8 conference coaches. And boy, has this been fun. Joined tonight by Elvis. How you doing, pal?
What up, baby? Good, you?
Doing well, thank you. Recty's in the house as well.
What's up, man?
Not a lot. Tara's off tonight. Apparently, she had better things to do with probably more fun people. Everybody else, I don't know a whole lot about what's going on. I did talk to the Dr. Rakes the other day. We're coming up upon Dougie's, Dougie Jr. the Third's last week before he heads off to BGSUCKS. So he's not joining us. Dougie Fresh and Curtis are both MIA. Tonight, we will be joined later on by Wayne Trace head coach Matt Holden. I went back and listened to last week's episode. Wow, did we do well. I was very pleasantly surprised with how we did with Brody Flagel and Tyler Aaron, both of which, by the way, those two guys are excellent interviewers. Interviewees. I thought they did a fantastic job. What did you guys think?
I think both of them were great. Two young coaches, and sound like they really inspired for this year.
Yeah, I think they definitely have their stuff together. We're on top of it.
Well, it netted us 53 plays, and I guess while I'm talking some podcast business, for those of you who may have noticed, the ad that used to start at the beginning of the episode is no longer there. That was the Anchor ad, which was me pimping Anchor, who is the host, not the host, they house our podcast and do all the distribution. Because we fell under, now in that ad, I talked about there being no listenership threshold. And by the way, Elvis, thanks for pointing this out because I didn't even think about that. Apparently, if you fall below a certain number of unique listeners is defined as a single person one person who downloads it or plays it on any platform. So this is kind of ruining my whole game plan of me listening to it 5 different times on 5 different platforms, giving us 5 different plays. So they're no longer looking at that. So they've dropped us. We still can hold. They'll still house our podcast. Only we now make no money. So this is my pleading to our listeners out there. We need sponsor. Okay, We need sponsorships for our ads in the middle of the episode. Honestly, it'd be really nice if we could pull off a presenting sponsor. You write me a big enough check, and we will call it the Duder Podcast presented by Coca-Cola or whomever. I'm just looking at a bottle next to me. Obviously, with as low key as we are, obviously it's not going to cost you a lot, but we'd love to get a sponsor. Talk to me. Shoot the show an email at duderpodcast@gmail.com if you have any interest. It'd be neat to happen. Obviously, we would use the money to soup up our equipment and maybe some merchandise and potentially website, things of that nature. Let's get on with the show. Guys, I was watching the Little League World Series last night. They're not at the World Series level, it's the regional championships. And I think I was watching Ohio versus Michigan, maybe. And there was a play at the plate. Okay, the kid was obviously safe. All of a sudden, they go to a replay review. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There is now replay review in big time Little League ball games. My opinion, that's horse shit coming from former player, former Little League coach, former Little League umpire. It's not necessary. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it.
It should be outlawed. Most of the umpires there, I think in the Little League World Series, I mean, get paid. They're just doing it on merit.
Is that true? Okay.
And if they mess up a call, so be it.
I mean, most of these guys have the most fucking atrocious strike zones I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a foot off the plate, and these catchers are bringing it back in, and they're calling it a strike. I just kind of feel like I'm not a huge fan of replay at the major league level. Like if it's for on a home run or something where it's not a judgment call, safe or out is a judgment call. You know what I'm saying? Recty, what are your thoughts?
I'm torn on it because I'm with you. I'm not a huge fan at the pro level, but I hate to see these kids that work so hard year round get ripped off. I guess maybe in the last round I can see it. Maybe not the ones leading up to it. For these kids,
guys, this play
all year long.
This was a play at the plate. It was not close. I mean, it took them it should have taken them about 2 seconds to review. Probably two different angles. They would have seen the kid slid, the catcher came around with a sweeping tag and just didn't get him. But it was unbelievable. We're sitting there. I mean, this took like 7 or 8 minutes to figure out.
You know, the way I look at it is baseball is built on air because 3 out of 10 you make it to the Hall of Fame. You bat 300, you're gonna make the Hall of Fame.
That's a really good point, Elvis. That's a really good point.
It's it's 50-50. It's a judgment call, and if they don't make it, it's kids. They'll get over it. You'll get them a goddamn ice cream soda after the game and lick his
Give them a dollar treat at the concession stand.
Get them a freaking malt ball and tell them to go jump in the pool at Mike Myers' house.
And maybe it's because I haven't really, and I don't know how long they've had it. Because obviously the Mets didn't play till 7 last night. There's nothing on television at, I think it was noon. And I was like, where the hell's the umpire going? Well, the umpire's going behind the home plate to look at a screen. And I thought, instant replay has now made it to, I guess I don't have a problem with them reviewing to get the call right. It's just the amount of time that it takes. And some of these in MLB just take forever. And when you watch 156 games a year like I do, it's just unbelievable how long it takes to just get the call. And some of them, it's amazing that some of the ones that are simple calls, if you go look at the screen, they're simple. I think home run should be reviewable and fair or foul. But as far as out and safe, because and now, I mean, and you hear him talking about these robot umpires for strike zones. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world because I've noticed, especially at the Major League Baseball level, the strike zones have been fucking atrocious this year. I mean, both for and against my team, which puts me in the middle of it. And I really don't. I mean, I don't know. It's just something that, and you guys know, I saw this last night, and I guess Recty, you're not in the thread. So, but I texted him Elvis last night. I just couldn't quite figure out. Well, first off, when it started, but why. That's my rant for the week. Sorry, guys. The Fighting Irish named a starting quarterback yesterday. Jack Cohen, which I think we all kind of thought that was going to happen. Either of you got some thoughts on that?
13-0.
You heard it right there, folks.
You heard it here first.
I have yet to see the kid play, so I have no idea. I guess I'll find out on the 4th of September, Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
5th. September 5th. They play on a Sunday. Jack
7:30
Cohen will be the starting quarterback for the Irish. Hey guys, what'd you think of Justin Fields yesterday?
Oh, MVP.
17-0.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be the Bears' first 4,000-yard passer. He's gonna be the best ever. No, he looked okay.
Yeah, I will admit he looked a lot better than I thought I was going to.
I saw he made a couple slick plays. I think he's the quarterback you guys have needed.
He did. I was impressed.
As much as I dislike the Buckeyes, I mean he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. I mean,
he looks a lot better in midnight blue and orange. I know that.
Yeah.
I know you're sitting a lot better at the quarterback position than my team is. Not looking pretty. I don't know if you got that HBO Hard Knocks is with the Cowboys this year. And I've got HBO Max, so I started watching. Dak hurt his shoulder, so we don't quite really know what's going on there.
Jesus, he's hurt already?
Yeah. Well, I watched the first practice. He came out and he threw like 400 times, and he tweaked his shoulder. I think he just needs a little. He probably won't play in any preseason games and probably come out week 1 and start. I would assume.
Who's your backup? Because we got the Red Rocket.
Oh, Red Rocket.
Rocket.
Gosh. Without looking it up, I couldn't tell you. Maybe Kellen Moore will come out of retirement and
offensive coordinator / QB.
I don't know. There's worse things that could happen. I mean, they're not sitting terrible. They've got a decent team, but
you could be a Packers fan. There's always the worst things.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I mean, Cowboys are close, but I mean, it's not as bad as Packers fans.
Nope.
Well, that's your guys' primary rival, so I'll let you do that. But. All right. Just to let you guys know, we will be next week. We will be starting a new series. Don't know how many weeks it's going to last, but next week we're going to start our Catching Up With series, and I think this is going to be a fun one for all of us.
I didn't hear a word you said.
Rec, did you hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear.
Okay, good.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say, buddy?
I said next week we're starting our Catching Up With series. Next week we will be joined by former Hicksville coach Jerry Cooper, who's now at Lima Shawnee. Coach Coop is going to come on. I don't know if I've told him what we're doing. I don't know if he thinks we're talking about his current team, but the point is to bring him on to talk about his time at Hicksville. Elvis played for him. We will be also bringing on another former player, but we're going to keep that one a secret. So yeah, and then the following week will be Dave Blue, and we're just going to kind of work our way through some coaches and just have a little fun because high school football starts on Friday. So looking to get some Beetettes to be some live correspondents to at least maybe cover the games and check them out. I'm leaning towards the Hicksville Patrick Henry game, if only because I want to get a program from the Hicksville game so I can look at the records. That's kind of about my only reason, but so yeah, that's the plans for the next week, and we're slowly coming up to the anniversary. And also talk to Garrett. Garrett wants to come back on again, hopefully soon, before the season starts. So hopefully we can get him back on and hear what's going on with our old buddy out west. So we're going to take a little break. We'll come back and we'll be joined by Wayne Trace head coach Matt Holden. And that'll wrap up our GMC football preview. You're listening to the Duder Podcast.